everybody, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be testing out this new foundation from Huda Beauty. Y'all know I'm a sucker for a good foundation. I do like full coverage, but I also prefer a natural finish. So I'm really curious to see what this foundation is going to do for me. For those of you who are new to my channel, I just want to give you a quick rundown of what I'm dealing with my skin. So I do have oily skin, but sometimes I get the occasional dry spots around the perimeter of my face. I deal with large pores, with acne, as well as mild rosacea just here along my cheeks. So that's why my face can seem a little bit red sometimes. I do have very sensitive skin, and I also deal with quite a bit of texture because of the acne. So that is why I'm really curious to try out this foundation, because it's supposed to put a filter on my face basically. It is medium to full coverage, and you need very little apparently to cover up everything on your face. Huda Beauty has put out several shades of foundation within this particular line here, so hopefully you'll be able to find your match. What I did appreciate was the little comparison chart that she did post on her website showing some other popular foundations and what their equivalent would be if they had one to her shade range. So using that chart, I ended up choosing the shade 240N, which is called Toasted Coconut. This foundation is supposed to be equivalent to MAC's NC20, I believe. So, oh, what just fell out? Hang on a second. Let me investigate. Oh, check this out. It's a primer. So she's actually included a Complexion Perfection pre-makeup base inside of her foundation for anybody to try out. So that's kind of neat. But because I want to give this foundation the best possible test run ever, I am going to use my trusty Hylamide Matte 12 primer instead, because I know this works. I know my skin loves it. So I'm going to stick with that for this particular foundation review, and maybe play around with this during some other applications of this foundation to see how it compares. I'm not gonna lie, I am a little bit ticked off with the plastic packaging that this has. I would have preferred glass. It's what all of my other foundations come in. I know some people have concerns about glass breaking during travel or transit, but I've never had any of that glass break. It is quite thick, so I don't know, maybe that's why this packaging is plastic, but really wish it were glass. Huda, if you are watching this, change the packaging to glass, please. You crack that open. That took some effort. I'm not Thor over here, jeez. And it does have a pump, which is quite nice. I'm always a fan of foundations with a pump. And it says to take a pump or less, because that's how much pigment is in it. So I'm only gonna take a little bit as I pump some out. There. So there is a full pump right there on my hand. I do feel it sliding down a little bit, so I'm not sure how mattifying this will actually be, but we're gonna put it on and find out. To apply the foundation, I am going to use my trusty old beauty blender. I use this to apply all of my foundations, and that's how I know if I have a good one on my hand. So I'm going to benchmark it against everything else that I own. I'm just going to dab my sponge into the foundation here and just start applying it to half of my face. So I'm going to do this half over here. Ooh. This does have a fragrance to it. It's not awful. It smells like a perfume. Like an Hermes or like a Guerlain perfume. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of foundations that have a scent, but I'll roll with it. Hopefully it will fade. Ooh. First, I thought this foundation was going to be a little bit on the dark side just based on the pump that came out on my hand, but I actually think it's a relatively decent match, but I am going to pull it down my neck just a little bit. And it's doing a really good job of blending out. I will say it's quite easy to work with. I am moving fast because I don't know how fast this will dry either, which is why I'm like completely pounding my face with this sponge. One dab into this foundation did cover half of my face, and I think it did a pretty decent job initially, although I do see redness still peeking through on my nose as well as around my cheek area over here, which is not unusual. Most of my foundations still leave a lot of redness there anyways, but I like how smooth it really does look. So there's your comparison. You can see the foundation on one side over here versus the side with no foundation. So it's not that bad. I'm not too sensitive to smells, but I can still smell the foundation on my face. I'm really hoping that is going to fade. Anyhow, I'm just gonna go ahead and finish off the rest of my face on this side here. I'm doing this foundation review on a Sunday, and I do have a first date a little bit later today. I know, exciting, right? I'm not sure if I should be trying out a new foundation and going on this date, but I'm gonna roll with it and see what happens. Maybe even get his 2 cents. I'm kind of excited. I haven't like properly dated in a while. My life has just been too busy. I haven't really had time to dedicate to a relationship or even finding my better half out there in the universe. I'm kind of excited for today, but also a little bit nervous. I can't lie, I'm a little bit nervous. One full pump does cover your entire face, or at least it did so for me, and I'm thinking it looks pretty decent right now. Let me zoom you in so you guys can take a closer look too. Here is what it looks like. I am enjoying it quite a bit actually, even though the smell is still lingering. Don't know why I keep harping on that, but I love how it has covered up almost everything. Again, I still see some of the redness peeking through. It didn't quite cover this blemish over here, but I can touch that up with a little bit of concealer like I normally do. It hasn't clung to any dry patches, which is quite nice. All of my pores look nice and smoothed out. In terms of the finish, it does lean towards the matte side, at least on me, but it also leaves a very natural finish. So there is still a little bit of glow coming through, a little bit of luminescence or radiance, whatever you want to call it, but it's not super pronounced. So I kind of like it. What I am gonna do is try to build it up just a little bit over here to see if it can cover up a little more of that redness before I go in with my concealer. And that does seem to do the trick. It did build up quite nicely. It still doesn't look super cakey or anything like that. The foundation does dry down to almost a velvet finish. It does look quite nice. I mean, you be the judge. You let me know in the comment section what you think. How does it look? I am gonna go ahead now and finish off the rest of my face, and I will be right back. And I'm back. My face is now on. I've done pretty subtle makeup for the most part, or at least I like to think this is a little on the subtle side for my date a little bit later. But I will say that everything blended out beautifully on top of the foundation. There was nothing that looked patchy or that gave me a really hard time. I used the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer underneath my eyes just to add a little bit of brightness, because I did notice this foundation was just a tad on the dark side. Nothing too crazy, but just a little bit darker than what I'm used to working with. So I did lighten it up with the concealer a little bit, and hopefully that reflects on camera for you. I powdered down everything with a translucent setting powder as well as my MAC Studio Fix powder, just to make sure that all of this is gonna stay matte for as long as possible. Anyhow, everything is looking pretty good so far. No complaints. Really love the finish of this foundation, especially in photography. It really does look like I have a filter with no filter on my face, and I'm going to insert a couple of the pictures that I took in here for you so you guys can see that as well. Alright, so with that said, I am going to go about the rest of my day, and I will check in with you a little bit later. Hey guys, this is the first check-in. I'm sorry I didn't check in sooner, but I did have that date I was telling you about. It actually went quite well. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'll keep trying, you know. You got to put in some effort. But anyways, you guys are here to actually hear about the foundation and not about my date, which is so unimportant right now. This foundation still looks really good. I'm trying to get as much natural light as possible, so I'm looking out at the window. It looks really good, hasn't shifted around a lot, but when I take you in a little bit closer, like underneath my glasses, you can see that it's completely shifted over there. So some of my redness is peeking through right now, and it's the same over on this side here. I am getting a little bit greasy right now, especially around my T-zone area and a little bit around my cheeks, but that's pretty normal for me. It's really hard for foundation to stay completely matte on me all day. So honestly, this is holding up quite well so far. Thank God the smell has also dissipated, which, good Lord, I don't think I could walk around all day sniffing that smell, but anyhow, so far, so good. So my normal vlog camera has died. I didn't bother charging the battery. So I am stuck filming on my phone right now, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I think the audio quality is a little bit low, but that's okay. I am just playing around with a little bit of new makeup right now. I have been doing a little bit of buying over here. Wish I hadn't. I would have had a lot more money in my bank account. Don't mind the lipstick. It has faded and it looks like absolute garbage right now, but the foundation, on the other hand, is still looking amazing. I am definitely oily. I have not touched up at all, so I'm greasy all over. I mean, you guys can see it right now on camera. I don't think it looks bad from far away, but definitely from up close, it's looking like a bit of a hot mess. The transferring still has happened around my nose area here. Pardon me. The foundation is sitting well pretty much everywhere else on my face, although this blemish is starting to peek through a little bit now. I mean, overall, this is a lovely foundation. I would recommend setting with a good powder because you will get oily, but it's a good one. I think this is a keeper for me. I have no complaints. The only thing that I mentioned before was the smell of it. I think that's probably its biggest downfall, in addition to the packaging, because for that price point, I better get a damn glass bottle. I don't think this foundation is going to change drastically within the next couple of hours, so I'm probably going to end the video right here by saying I give this a thumbs up. It is a great foundation to use. Hopefully you can try it by ordering it online or hop into a Sephora and get a sample so you can test it out just a little bit to see if it is going to work for you. And that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure you give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. You can also connect with me on all of my social media. I am on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. And I'm gonna link everything for you in my description box below. I hope you are all having an amazing day no matter where you are in the world. Stay beautiful, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.